Woo! We're live.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What's up, Tom?
Nothing. Just, hanging out in the dark, I guess. That's what it
Just
looks like.
chilling.
In my darkness. Now, we had softball tonight, so we did that. Went to that. It was good. The girls won, because that's how
Awesome.
that goes. And, worked all day, got peppered with questions.
Yeah, good stuff.
They felt aggressive. It felt aggressive today.
Every once in a while, you got to shoot back with a little passive-aggressive email.
Work felt aggressive today. No, I am sweet as pie. I'm the nicest guy ever.
Oh, I'm nice. It's just, if you heard me say it, it would not be as nice. In my mind, as I'm typing it, you fucking idiot. Please.
So go ahead. While we were waiting, I know what it is, but go ahead. You tell what was Tony's big announcement? Breaking news.
First off, we got to say, we're going to be without Walt tonight because he had work at his fine dining establishment that I'm sure is probably broadcasting across the kitchen right now. So hello, everyone in the kitchen staff and out front at the bar.
Hi, everybody in the kitchen.
But so right before we went live here, big announcement from Tony, which to be honest, from the crowd reaction, it kind of went over like a wet fart. We are gonna have officially CM Punk on AEW Collision.
Oh, the worst kept secret in wrestling is the big announcement. Okay.
And if you were gonna do it like that, okay, that's fine. It's just really awkward to see Tony do announcements like this at this point because his eyes are on this screen reading off the teleprompter as he's facing this camera on this side. It's very obvious that he's trying to contain his cocaine frenzied normalness that is Tony, because it comes over like it comes off very off-putting. But if you're going to announce the man, have him come out, have him jump somebody, to kind of give us a reason of, okay, well, this is the first feud we're going to see, or this is what Punk has to say about the 9 months he's been off, and fuck Omega and the kids, or something. Give us something.
Hangman that he's pissed at.
He's going to be there June 17th at Chicago. Well, no shit, Tony. Thanks. But yeah, I mean, the crowd was kind of, there was a bunch of people excited, obviously, but there was definitely some boos. And, obviously it was not as exciting as it could have been if you would have just brought the man out. He's a contracted wrestler. He is an employee of yours. Please employ him.
Employ him to show up and wrestle. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do think that Punk being back is going to draw eyeballs. I don't think they're the same eyeballs that are the diehard AEW Wednesday night fans necessarily anymore, mostly because of what happened at All Out last year and that Brawl Out. I think that the AEW diehards have soured on CM Punk, and because they fought their buddies. The AEW diehards are the people, the 500,000 people that will follow Kenny Omega and the Bucks everywhere.
Sure.
So I feel like those diehards have soured on CM Punk, and that's where we are right now. So that's why there's some, obviously when they're in Chicago, he's going to get a huge reaction.
Sure.
But other places maybe not so much. So I don't know.
Honestly, I would have considered myself maybe not a diehard, but I was very much into what they were doing for the longest time. And here lately, I've even begun to sour a little bit.
Well, it's been pretty shit lately, to be honest. Since Punk left, really, it's been downhill. Because, as much as I give CM Punk shit for kind of being a crybaby bitch, his run and whatever his influence is on those feuds that he had that was good wrestling. That was good wrestling television. Obviously all the good wrestling sort of centered around him. But you know what? It was better than after seeing what the product looked like with him and with his influence, and then without. It was certainly a better product, and you'll agree too. It was certainly a better product with his influence, right?
Sure.
Like
yeah,
there was
absolutely
no question.
We definitely have a very large booking issue, it seems. I mean, the booking is just all over the place, doesn't make sense, and within 5 minutes of yelling at each other on a mic, we're going to go straight to a Anarchy in the Arena match, or a death match, or a no rules, unsanctioned lights out match.
I think Walt's in the comments right now. He said, no, they're going to be the casual fans, Second City Savior. All right. Hi, buddy. Anyway,
I don't know how that's getting the comments. There we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting, but the luster of the Bucks and Kenny and the kids, or whatever you want, like now that we see them every week, it's not must see television anymore. It's not like, oh shit, like Kenny's going to put on a 7-star banger. It's every. Thank you. It's every week that we're seeing this now.
Good.
So
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't look that good when I had a newborn.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling all right today.
Yeah, I didn't look that good when I had.
But yeah, it's not it's not a big draw. It's not a big pop. Obviously the competition that Kenny was facing in Japan really helped his style. Sure. And I'm assuming the bookers over there did not let him, influence as much. Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think that's a big part of the other problem that we have going on is, too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak.
Everybody wants to book themselves at that. And I don't think Tony's actually he's clearly a wrestling fan, and he's not the worst booker ever, but he's not like, I mean, he's not, and I hate to say this, he's not a guy that's been around backstage. He's not a Vince McMahon. He's not a guy that's been with, who's been around generational talent after generational talent for years and years. It's just, sure. I mean, he's not a Jim Crockett. He's not, he's not those guys, right?
No, he's a money mark that bought his way in. I mean,
yeah.
he's the Conrad Thompson of the actual wrestling business instead of the podcast side of things.
Right. Yeah. So he's not the experience isn't there. The experience exists. He could have hired those guys. He hasn't. So, it is what it is. It's not the most exciting thing. Like you said, the cooks there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many guys book themselves. I like Jon Moxley, but at this point, Jon Moxley has done all of the Jon Moxley things that he wants to do. We're 2-3 years into this. Like, he's out of, like, it's the same thing over and over again. I'm going to drink blood and piss wine or whatever. And just, what you got in the ring with me? What did you think was going to happen? You were going to get hurt. And it's like, okay, but like that's fine. Like, that works on the indies, but that doesn't work on television every week. And it's kind of that mindset.
That's the thing right there, is that every week portion of it doesn't become an event that he's coming to town, or I'm going to drive 2 hours to go see it, and it's going to be awesome. No, I just tune in on a random Wednesday, and I can watch Moxley plead now. And I mean, that's the type of stuff that excites me. I enjoy the deathmatch wrestling and all that good stuff. But
you don't have to watch it. Like, the thing about AEW is that, like, you can jump in at literally any point in time, and it doesn't matter. Like, if you know who even if you don't know who the wrestlers are, it doesn't matter. Is that what you missed last week doesn't really have anything that that's going to influence what goes on the current week. And, they'll fill you in on whatever, paper thin storylines going on anyway. Like, they'll fill you in real quick. You can watch once a month and be totally caught up on AEW. 100%.
You're exactly correct, sir.
And that's part of the problem. Like, don't get me wrong, man. I mean, I put it on pretty much every week too, but I'm not like watching intently. Generally, I'm talking to you guys when I peek at out of the corner of my eye. Maybe I catch a botch, maybe I don't catch anything. But it's not like you're like you said, it's not must see television. I'm looking for my remote. Oh, there it is. It fell behind me. gun. I have this cool little remote thing. It's mounted to the wall right here, and it holds my remotes. But then I forget it's there, or it falls because it's a little too big, and this remote's teensy tiny.
Yeah, I finally resorted to upgrading my Fire TV remotes to the Pro version. That now I can just ask the robot to find this shit because it's tiny, and they get lost in the cabinet way too often.
Mine are just
smart. I feel your pain there.
Mine's just a smart TV, and this is actually I really like this Roku TV because just Roku as an operating system because it's fast. What's this on? TBS? TNT?
Yeah, TBS.
Like it's fast, which is good.
I guess moving on now. This was more centered towards you because I didn't really have an opinion on the subject and even kind of questioned you of like what is he even talking about? So why is Nick Aldis pissed, Tom?
Why is Nick Aldis mad? So Nick Aldis is, and hang on, sorry, I didn't sign in. And all right, well, we're not going to worry about that. So Nick Aldis said this week that he's really sad to see all of his hard work in the NWA be eroded away. And I fully agree with that. And here's why. Here's why that's a problem. So the NWA, right, when it kind of first got its TV show or its YouTube thing, Billy Corgan bought it, started making events, doing things like that. Nick Aldis was the champion. And at that point in time, they more or less had their pick of kind of everybody, really. This was pre-AEW. So they had Thunder Rosa. They had LA Knight. I can't remember what was his name. What was his name in NWA? Anyway, LA Knight was there. And he got the mic every week and was talking a lot. So was Damian Sandow. I can't remember what they called him, but Damian Sandow was there. And they had a lot of just really good wrestlers, just really good technical wrestlers. Plus they had access and they had a little deal with Ring of Honor at the time. So they had a lot of Ring of Honor guys coming in and out. So Bandito and guys like that. And, sure. You've seen NWA guys as well, plus other indie guys. For example, Matt Cardona actually took the title off of Nick Aldis, I think, and held the NWA championship for a little while. But at the same time, too, they had Jim Cornette on commentary. It was really it was kind of firing on all cylinders, right? Like they had all those names I just mentioned are sort of more household names now. This was 3 years ago. But they had all those guys, and Nick Aldis was sort of their centerpiece attraction. And he had done a ton of good work, had done a kind of feud back and forth before AEW with Cody Rhodes. And he and Cody traded the title back and forth.
Sure.
That was actually the first All Out show. The All In. All In, All Out. I can't remember. Whatever that indie show was. Was it All In?
All In.
All In, yeah. The All In indie show.
I think. I don't know. I can't see.
Yeah, no, I think it was All In because it was indie. So it was all indie. And they put it on with Ring of Honor and everybody else. But that was the main event, right? Was that. Now, the NWA is sort of a floundering mess. Tyrus, who was the Funkadactyl, that big guy on in WWE for a while.
Call your mama.
Yeah, him. Yeah, him. Exactly. So he's the champ. He's a chooch in real life. He's a regular Fox News contributor, which immediately
makes him a chooch. That's what it is.
Well, no, I mean he's a chooch besides that, but so he's also a Fox News contributor, which immediately turns off half of your audience base, right? At least half. Like I don't know how many people are but for a guy who's okay, so let's say you wrestle on a Tuesday, but on, every Saturday you yuck it up with a guy who's like, yeah, the Republicans are awesome. You can't, politics and wrestling have not mixed ever. Well, wrestling seems to me to be the one thing that kind of stays way the hell out of politics for the most part. Or if it gets into it, it's over the top ridiculous. Yeah. Which is not the case with Tyrus. So So he's the champion currently. And the product really just overall, it just stinks. It's not good anymore. Like they don't have access to Ring of Honor anymore. So they don't have all those guys who could actually work. So they've got just their guys. Obviously, their guys like LA Knight are gone. Damian Sandow's retired. All that kind of stuff. All the things they had going for them. Those people have found greener pastures.
Sure.
And those greener that has not been filled with better talent for the most part. So I'm sure there's still some bright spots there. Clearly, like Camille's great. She's the women's champion. She's like 6 feet tall, 6.5 feet tall. She's great. But
speaking on Nick Aldis, what and I don't know if you know the answer to this exactly right off the top of your head. Where is he at now? Is he working for anybody currently? Is he just working
independent? He signed with TNA. Did he not? I think he signed with Impact.
All right. Impact.
So I think he's doing shows there. He may be following the path of the indie god though, and just having a high booking fee and seeing where he ends up.
Yeah, it's an interesting comment to make whenever you've moved from the NWA to only a small stair step higher to Impact, but then to come out and make a bold statement.
I'm really confused by the fact that he's not, because Nick Aldis is he's a great wrestler. He's a great promo. He's 6'6", 250 pounds.
He's got the look.
He is cut from the cloth that is the WWE cloth. He must have some sort of he must have some sort of beef with them or something.
Are you telling me that there's backstage politics going on at WWE? Surely not.
I mean, yeah, and obviously it hasn't come to light because we would know about it. But there must be some kind of beef between him and the WWE, or somebody in WWE and Nick Aldis don't get along, or Nick Aldis has a feeling about it, because it sure seems to me like he was cut for WWE, and I know Walt would agree with me too.
Sure,
but at this point, it is sad what NWA is without Nick Aldis, but I don't think his presence would necessarily fix it either. I think that, they're sort of the low man on the totem pole, right? They don't have a TV deal anywhere. Obviously, Ring of Honor doesn't have a TV deal either, but Tony owns it, so he can just put those guys on his TV shows. And then, TNA still got a TV deal, and that is what it is. So, TNA sort of the low man promotion, and they just don't have any talent. It seemed promising initially, and there was hope there, but I think that without a TV deal, I think it all just sort of disintegrated into basically nothing. And then NWA is going to go away again, just like it did back in the 80s, and it's this is probably the end of it. I don't know how long Billy Corgan's going to continue to throw money at it and try to promote it and put his time into it. That's really up to him. He's a wrestling fan, I know. So, it may just be a pet project for him, but certainly not.
At this point, I guess it just depends on what the royalties on a Smashing Pumpkins album looks like.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I'm sure Billy Corgan's got plenty of money. He sold plenty of records, but it's, I can't imagine this being ever being, there was a point in time where it was a good watch every week. That time seems to have passed, and it does not seem to be coming back. So I agree with Nick Aldis' statements. It is sad, but hopefully for him, he's on the up and up, and he ends up, getting in front of more eyeballs and winning more titles because he's a star. But that's just my 2 cents on that.
No, man, that's a great explanation, because I really had no idea where that was coming from, and so I'm sure our fans appreciated that, Tom.
Yeah, because we got to talk about it. We got to talk about wrestling.
We'd had a couple of announcements over the premium live event, pay-per-view weekend, whatever you want to call it nowadays.
Announcements. They were happenings. That's what I
happenings.
Happenings. They were happenings. Go.
There was 2 announcements during the happenings.
Okay, go with your announcements.
We got a couple babies on the way.
Oh yeah, that's
A
right.
couple babies.
Couple babies.
Yes. Thankfully, the trash WrestleFest that is Ty Conti will be away from television for the most part, I would
For the
assume,
foreseeable
anyway.
future. For the
For the
foreseeable next
foreseeable
year, at
future,
least.
yes. Please, God, stop making out with your husband on television. We get it. You're married. You're happy. Good for you.
Yeah. It's going to
Like,
get him over a little more, I think, her not being on TV.
yeah, it would help a lot. I mean, honestly, I feel like that detracts from his character. Like, I get if you're trying to
I'm
be a
crazy, but I'm happily married.
Yeah, like,
but no,
I hate
congrats to them. Truth be told, I don't know if that was like. I mean, it's good for wrestling fans because you're right. I mean, it really gets her off of TV. She's not a great wrestler. Good for them. Congrats to them. That they're gonna have their first kid. That's great. Good for Ty Conti. Good for
Amy
Sammy
or whatever her
Guevara.
name was that he pronounced.
Ty Mello.
Proposed to in the middle. No, his former fiance. That poor lady. She's had a hell of a time. I mean, gets proposed to in the middle of the ring by Sammy. All happy.
Terrible year.
All great. And then now flipping through the channels, turn on the television. Oh, this asshole's having a baby with that girl. That's nice.
I mean, they're married, so it's not.
I mean, they are, and I'm sure everybody's moved on, but still, just a little salt in the wound there.
I feel like that's the nail in the coffin there. But yeah, it's good for her, good for them.
It's good
and
for
like I said, that's actually probably good. That one's actually probably good for wrestling fans because now she doesn't get to muck up the TV shows so much anymore.
No more Ty Conti muckety muck.
Yeah, so good for them. Congrats.
So the second one that sent the Simps into his tailspin, I'll start it with that,
including you.
Yes, we have finally lost the battle for Alexa Bliss. She is preggers by her husband. We all were fighting for her honor. I was like 15th in line.
I hate that word, preggers. The worst word. That's the worst word I've ever heard in my life.
So she's gone for a while too, which
congrats Alexa Bliss and Ryan Cabrera. Ryan Cabrera is a
musician, I think.
Semi-talented musician. Yeah, he's all right.
I don't know. I don't know what he does.
He's a pretty decent guitar player, actually. He's a pretty good musician.
Good.
Yeah,
good for him.
It's not my style. It's sort of that. It's like kind of folk, but also kind of techno. It's fine. He's good. He's good at what he does. But
apparently,
he's great. I mean, good for them. Ryan Cabrera's hair is like this. It's this tall.
Yeah, it's really terrible.
But I guess that's his thing. Good for them. They shared an announcement on Twitter that was like the best oops ever, and I was like, okay. Well,
yeah,
I guess
that's not how I would want to be welcomed to the world.
It's not how I want to be welcomed to the world either.
Whenever this boy or girl grows up, to be old enough to, hop on the Twitterverse or whatever it might be at that point, because Elon Musk is just running it into the ground.
I'm Twitter's not going to be around much longer.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's not going to be like, oh, thanks, mom and dad. That's nice. Or she.
Yeah, no, they bought the onesie too, so I'm sure he'll find the picture. And be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I guess I was not planned, eh? But yeah, I don't see this one as being nearly as positive for the wrestling business. I mean, I didn't hate Evil Alexa as much as you guys both did, you and Walt.
I mean, I was into it.
Obviously, we have Bray Wyatt coming back at some point soon. It seems he had an injury, which was never really discussed, but it is coming out here recently that there was more of an injury, sickness.
We can talk about that next, but he was real sick. He was sick for real. We don't know what sick means, but he was medically fucked. So whatever reason that was, but yeah.
But who knows what the plans were with that? But might have lost an integral piece there to whatever plan they have coming forth with bringing Bray Wyatt back.
Truth be told, though, I would have rather not seen Alexa have to be forced back into that. I think that's probably his being ill and whatever else. There's probably backstage politics involved too, but I think that was the reason she wasn't around. So she wasn't around because I mean she wasn't like in like she hasn't been in a storyline. She hasn't been on TV in almost a year, right?
Yeah,
It's been a long time.
That's why they got bored at home and have a baby now.
Yeah, I mean that happens, right? If you're not, do you need me to be at television? Nah, I don't need you there. All right, I guess we're hanging out at home.
Well, this is what you got now. Good job.
Look, I know what happens when you hang out at home, just watch TV all day. It happens. You have children. I have those. They exist. That's how they got here. But
it's crazy.
It's
funny
crazy.
How that works.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. But I mean, congratulations to them. Like I said, you're right. It's not as I don't know that we would have wanted to keep Alexa Bliss off of television, or Alexis Cabrera, as her real name would be now, off of television necessarily. I don't know that makes it television better for the wrestling fan, but congrats to them. It is a thing. They are of the age to have children, and it's a good idea to do that. She clearly wasn't involved in a major feud at the moment, so it's probably a good time anyway. So good for them. Congrats to them. I hope both of them have happy, healthy pregnancies and have happy, healthy children. I'm sure they both will. They're both very young and in very good shape. So I hope that all goes very well. So that's very happy. And let's take that as a happy note for all of us. Although,
fine, I'm happy for him.
There we go. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Derek. Thank you for not me having to lay into you about that, because clearly that's the way it needed to go. Anyway.
Oh man. So what else we got? What do you want to talk about here, Challenge?
I listed off like 30 things before we started.
I didn't write them down.
All right. We don't have a list.
So I don't really want to get into the pay-per-views yet.
No, not yet. We're not there yet. We talked already about how. So let's talk about before that. Hold on. Where are we at? Bungle's another announcement. Chun-Li NFT. Where are we? Am I too far? Hold on. I'm too far. I'm so far away. I had sick kids too, so that's part of the reason why I'm gonna. Oh, I know what we can talk about. We can talk about last week's Friday. The Acclaimed came out. How is Buddy gonna act dominant when he's getting cucked by a guy named Dominic?
That was pretty great.
That actually made Rhea's me laugh. Response was even better.
Yeah, that was. Wait, Buddy had a response?
No, Rhea had a response.
Oh, did she?
Rhea's response was, "Hey Dom, look, we're over in two different wrestling promotions." Nice. Which is
that's a great way to play.
Perfect response. The perfect Rhea Ripley response.
Mm-hmm.
Perfection. We're over in two different wrestling companies. Because they are.
Yeah. I gotta say though, I loved it. Like that rap was one of his greatest hits.
It's fun. No, it's funny. It was good. But Rhea's also right that they're over because it got a huge pop.
Oh yeah.
That also means that everybody in that AEW crowd knows exactly who Rhea Ripley is and exactly who Dominic Mysterio is.
And there was also a blackface reference to Malachi Black or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And then there was some drama later on about the black metal band that was playing. I guess they're a black metal band. I don't know.
Oh, that guy was wearing a mask though. Yeah,
it was very strange. People actually tried to get annoyed with that online, which I found very odd considering the whole situation. Yeah, the other thing I found annoying about that was the fact that he continually played the song over and over and over. Please stop. You don't got to keep going. We get it.
They were mad. They were mad about it because, and that was during the main event. That was, it was
during the pay-per-view.
That was during the pay-per-view. You said you didn't want to talk about that yet.
Oh, sorry.
No. So you started it.
I'm back off of it.
All right, back off. Back off. All right, so we got to talk about the 8-woman, we got to talk about Raw then we can talk about pay-per-views. So,
okay, great.
because there was a title change on Raw, which I love title changes.
Do
Okay,
always a
so
highlight.
there was an 8-woman tag match, so 2 on 2 on 2 on 2, for the vacated WWE women's tag team titles. Now I know everybody's sour on these titles, but that match was better than it had any right to be. I went into that match going, oh my God, this is going to be the biggest fucking train wreck that's been on WWE television in a long time. And I watched like that, like, who's going to screw up? This is going to be stupid. It wasn't. It was, I don't know how they kept that pace up, but they did. They kept the pace up. There was no botch. They didn't really botch anything. There were a couple things that were a little sloppy, but not so much. And then the end, Shotzi goes for a top rope senton onto Ronda. Ronda kind of dodges out of the way and pulls her into an armbar, taps her out immediately. I was like, holy shit. But the whole match itself was actually like, it built well, and it had highs and lows and ebbs and flows. And it was so much. I said this to our group chat as it was going on. It was so much better than it had any right to be. It had no right to be any good at all. It should have just been awful. But it was so much better than it had any right to be. It was actually pretty decent. And then it put Ronda and Shayna on top. Both Ronda and Shayna were involved in the finish because Shayna kind of distracted Shotzi while she was getting up on the top rope, and then Ronda gave Ronda time to put her in the armbar, and they won. And truthfully, I think that's the best thing for the women's tag team titles. Put it on Ronda and Shayna because one, it keeps Ronda from kind of running over other people on her way to like something else. It keeps Ronda from just beating Asuka outright or something, and then at the same time, it also puts a shine on Shayna because now Shayna's got more gold around her. And, I'm a huge Shayna Baszler fan. I think that they've done a poor job with her most of the time on the main roster, but her NXT run is one of my favorite NXT runs ever. I think she's had one of the best NXT runs of any person, not just any woman, any person. I would put her NXT run up there with Asuka and with and with Tommaso Ciampa and those of the like, maybe even Adam Cole, a big good NXT run. And she certainly had that. She was dominant. She was great. And I think she really carried, helped carry that division when it was really, really strong. And she looked really, really strong at it. So I'm excited to see what happens with that because I would just kind of like to see them beat the shit out of people. I do like when Shayna is just allowed to be dominant. So hopefully that gets to happen. So we'll see. But your opinion, because I know you weren't as high on that as I was.
No, I mean, specifically, it's more of the fact that the tag titles even exist for the women's division. And not to be pessimistic about it, but you literally had almost entire women's locker room to have an 8-woman tag match. Like, there's not many left. There's like four ladies maybe left in the locker room after you bring all those out. You don't have a big enough division to have a women's champion, an NXT women's champion, NXT tag team champion women, and then also, your regular women's tag teams. Like, no, this is not, if you want to have the women's belt, obviously, yes, absolutely. It's great. Maybe even give them a secondary title, similar to like an Intercontinental or a United States title for the women. I mean, I'm not trying to name it that, whatever you want to make it. But I'm saying there's not enough talent. There's not enough potential for storylines. This is just going to flounder on. What are they going to do? They're going to beat like 4 teams and now we just start back at the beginning?
Well, no, they can feud with Damage Control if they'd like to do that, or they can feud, and that would be interesting. They could feud with they're clearly going to put Shotzi and they're going to put Liv back in the mix too once she's back. But they want Raquel in a tag team for whatever reason. So they're going to put Raquel with somebody, and that's going to be a tag match. they'll put Natty back in there somewhere, and they'll beat up Natty and somebody, probably Natty and Shotzi, or maybe Natty and Liv. But they want to. I think if they get one good feud out of it, so I agree with you. There's not really enough women on the roster, although the women get a lot of time on WWE. It just doesn't seem to be. You're right, enough of them, because Becky kind of takes up whatever she's doing, and she's kind of she's a big deal, and she takes a lot of time. Same thing with Rhea gets 3-4 segments a night too,
as she should.
As she should, because she's a star. And so between her, it's really Rhea and Seth Rollins' show on Monday, right? Separate but sort of equally. And then you have Becky in there too. So Rhea, Becky, Seth Rollins, and then the rest of Judgment Day. It's kind of their show, right? That's Monday night, right? So you got Finn, you got Rollins, you got Priest, Dominic, and Rhea, and then Becky. That's Monday.
Yeah,
that's everybody that's hanging out on Mondays. And it's a good show, but so I think that there's potential there for them as heels to kind of torment the baby faces a little bit, the baby faced women. I don't know. I mean, I guess Liv was probably going to be back sooner rather than later. She doesn't seem to be terribly hurt, so hopefully Liv comes back sooner rather than later. They'll probably feud with them, with her and with Liv and with
Raquel.
But then there's other ways to go with it too. There's other things to do, and you can do singles matches out of it too. Ronda doesn't have to be there every week. You can have Shayna in singles matches with people, to qualify for if you beat Shayna Baszler, maybe you get to have a tag team match or whatever. Like Ronda doesn't have to work every week. So
thankfully,
we'll see. I think we'll see or Ronda will just be on the side. She won't necessarily be involved in the match. And, she'll get involved, and Shayna will do something nasty to them and twist their arm in a weird way. I think that would be good. I would kind of like to see that sort of Nasty Boys type. You remember the Nasty Boys and their kind of tag team title runs that were just kind of a little bit dastardly. I don't think I'd hate to see that at all. So, but I think it's a good call, particularly because it keeps Ronda out of the main event picture, and it keeps her out of the stars that are being built, because she's clearly on her way out, right? Like she's just running out of contract. So it keeps Shayna engaged as well. So I think this is probably the best place to put Ronda. As a coach, as a guy who coaches kids, there's sometimes you have to coach around kids. This is a good way to coach around Ronda Rousey. And I think they've done a good job.
Wow. I feel like you've just minimized her entirely now, which I like, because I can't stand her and think she's worthless.
I mean, I think she's a big money contract, and she's a draw. So you want to have her on the shows. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
does she move merch?
Look, if she showed up on AEW, they would immediately have more viewers.
Please don't be listening, Tony Khan. We don't need that.
I'm just saying.
We don't need that negativity in our lives.
I'm just saying.
We already have enough terrible wrestling on Wednesday and Friday nights.
I'm just saying that'd be one big number pop for that show that Ronda was on. But that doesn't mean that she needs to be in the main event title picture on WWE, or that's a good idea. No, put a tag team title on her and let it roll from there. I think this is the perfect spot for Ronda Rousey, and I'm into it because it also puts a shine on Shayna. So can we talk about the pay-per-views now?
Yeah, let's do it. Which one do you start with? You start with from the bottom or from the top?
Well, I'm going to let you start. Start from the bottom. So where do you want to start? Go with that. I'll let you go.
All right, let's get the AEW stuff out of the way, because this was the worst pay-per-view in quite a bit of time, in my opinion. It was supposed to be a big one. Double or Nothing is kind of like one of their signature shows, and man, I don't know if you had time to watch it, but this was just a snooze fest, basically.
I mean, the card looked terrible, and I made fun of the card. So I made fun of the AEW lead-up show because I'm like, this is the most boring lead-up show card I've ever seen in my life for any show ever.
Yeah, we had the 4 Pillars match, which was good. You know, that was.
I mean, I was sure that was going to be a good match, but like, were you invested? Did you care?
Not particularly. I mean, we all kind of knew.
You knew MJF was going to win. He won.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, why would anybody care? That's the other problem with AEW is that, like, not problem, but, like, we know they don't hotshot titles, but, like, they also don't book things as though they're not going to hotshot it. So, like, you put this big thing together. It's like, oh, is MJF going to lose? Like, no, he's not. He has not had the title long enough. He's not going to lose.
Nah.
Talk to me again in a few months. Like, it's just not. It's too soon. And
we'll talk around the end of 2023.
Yeah, it's so predictable in the sense of, at least in who's going to, regardless of how they book it. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. He's still going to win because that's just how it's going to be. But yeah, no, I agree. It was a snooze fest. Like, other than that, you had the Blackpool Combat Club versus 2.
Yeah. Now that was our main event, which was the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Which is stupid. Why was that the main? Like that had the build to that was stupid. But anyway, go on.
I feel like Maxwell's explanation of that kind of made a lot of sense. He's like, no, I'm glad I didn't have to roll around in Moxley's blood after him. So I was totally fine going on before him. Yeah, I feel like that might be, where that kind of came into play there, honestly.
That's probably just the truth. Like, it's gross and it's weird.
Turned up to 11.
There's clearly like internal drama that is like, I guess can be good for television, but it's clearly not right now.
So we had them fighting the Bucks and the Bucks and Kenny and Hangman, who now has an eye again. He has both eyes. That's great. Good for him. Which I feel like really minimized the unsanctioned match that we had between Jericho and Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, right.
Because they couldn't really, they can't go out there and do anything crazy. Not to the point that they should have for an unsanctioned match, due to the fact that, we still have a main event, and obviously this is an Anarchy in the Arena match, so it's got to be even more over the top.
Yeah, that booking was stupid too. It was like, oh, this is unsanctioned. The lawyers can't get involved here. Like, are we saying that lawyers get involved in? Because like that, I feel like there's just AEW overuses that unsanctioned thing.
Yeah,
way too much. Like, it's happened. Maybe 5 or 6 times in the last. It's too many times in the last 3 years. I feel like once is too many times. Like, it's kind of a stupid gimmick anyway. Like, I'm not a fan, but at the same time, I mean, that match wasn't even like, it wasn't even that over the top, No. Like, oh, it's unsanctioned. It's like, it wasn't even that over the top. It was fine. It was good. Yeah, glad to see Adam Cole back. That was actually probably the better match of the night. That probably should have been the main event, if I'm being honest.
And they should have given them, full reign to do whatever. Instead, we got stuck with Kenny and the kids and Hangman and
doing their play blading. It's just
that was Blackpool Bleeding Club.
The Blackpool Blading Club. That was just. I didn't know that I could sour on that many wrestlers as quickly as I did, but man, what a bunch of chooches.
Yeah.
What a bunch of chooches.
And I tell you what, I know we talked about their wonderful hotshot booking earlier in the show. How about this for hotshot booking? We see Jade Cargill come out, defend the title. She's up to 60 wins now. Here comes Chris Statlander. We're going to have a match. She's returning, and we're going to have a match right now. What the fuck are we doing? Are we serious? Like, no, you don't build up for over a year now. Jade Cargill's, huge undefeated record, only TBS women's champion we've ever had. And then all of a sudden, here comes Chris Statlander, and boom, the bell rings. Why? No, You don't do that.
I feel like they had to hurry up. I feel like they felt like they needed to hurry up and put that belt on Statlander before she got hurt again. Like, as much as that is as stupid as that sounds, it's like Tony decided who the second champion was. He was like, all right, Jade, number 1. And then Jade's reign only lasted so long because Statlander got hurt twice and they didn't get a chance to like come around and put her in the picture. Mm-hmm. And then Statlander was finally cleared to wrestle. And they were like, just go, get out there now. Yeah. And they just did it. They just pulled the trigger.
Shows Tony's immaturity when it comes to booking.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? And because you're right, at this point, like at whatever, 500 plus days and 60 wins. They 60-0. They really should have, had it be a feud, had it be a build, had it had a thing. I'm not opposed to Statlander taking it off of her.
No,
but not just in a hot. You're right. It's not hot shotted because she had the title for 500 days, but at the same time, it really felt rushed. Like it just started happening, and then it was like, whoa, what? It was very Vince Russo.
There you go. Yeah.
But Vince Russo never let anybody hold a title that long. But still, if he had, it would have been very Vince Russo. And I don't know if Vince Russo was back there like, you know what? You know what, brother? You know what? You ought to have Statlander go out there right now and win the title. Right now. Just shock the people.
Yeah. She probably didn't even know. She's probably just standing around Gorilla randomly, just watching the show.
She wasn't even dressed. Like she had like her Adidas
go.
Things on. She was
go.
Go get dressed. Go.
Go be an alien.
She's like, I don't have the paint on.
Yeah.
That's still not a great game, but that's just my opinion.
I feel like she's moving away from it though. She has been for
a little bit. It was real dumb at first. It's a little less dumb, but it's still kind of dumb.
She doesn't boop anymore, so that's good. We have enough silliness going on here.
We got something.
Yeah. So, I guess that leaves us to the second best, in my opinion, pay-per-view of the weekend, which was from Jeddah. Is that right?
Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Which
was solid. It was a solid one.
I mean, these are glorified house shows, so they're what they are.
They did good. I was surprised to see Sammy there. Coming out the way he did, and who'd have thought he knows how to speak Arabic fluently? Quite fancy of him. Kind of thought it was odd though because I didn't think he was supposed to be. I don't know that it was his decision on like a personal decision of I will not go to Saudi Arabia, or if it was more the government there saying.
I think it was. I think it was a little of both. I think this is sort of a. So I think the big thing with WWE and the Saudi shows is they're trying to show some sort of growth within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as far as their athletic commission is concerned, and they're trying to show. Because this was more or less, I mean, obviously the women were in jumpsuits zipped up to their wrists for sure.
Oh, yes.
You saw hands and heads, and that was it.
They probably had jumpsuits on under their jumpsuits just in case.
Yeah. I mean, there was nothing, you weren't going to see an ankle. We'll put it that way.
No.
But, it was something. And it's clearly been progressing it's clearly been progressing a little bit every time. So I think this was part of that progression, and that's how I would categorize it is maybe just to show as part of a progression of how it's opening up in Saudi Arabia. Whether or not that's true, I'm sure it's not. It's still the same people in charge. I'm sure their opinions haven't softened really, but
no. But I think they're just trying to have a more positive outward stance.
I think it helps their PR a little bit.
Yes.
Look, we have these wrestling shows that are basically the same.
One random thing I did notice, and this was completely just, like a random take of mine as I was watching the show, is if you look out in the crowd, compared to the first time we went over for Blood Money, where it was basically what looked to me, I'm assuming here, I don't know anything about, that country and how they operate. But it looks like a lot of government official type people, men, basically only in the crowd for our first show, wearing traditional dress, and definitely were not paying customers. They were more like, you
Royalty?
are appointed to come here. Yes, royalty. There we go. Yes. Whereas this time it seemed more like, this is just the general population come to check out a show, wearing t-shirts, wearing wrestling t-shirts, not wearing their traditional robes and their headgear and all that.
They were a little more lively of a crowd too, I would say. The crowd was a little more lively.
You cheer, you die.
I mean, they probably were told to cheer, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, the crowd was a little more lively. So that was good too. I think that overall it was a good show. It was a little less house show feely to me, so that was good. I enjoyed the Brock Cody match more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Now they get to have a rubber match. The main event was pretty cool. But let's get it out of the way. Let's talk about the heavyweight title. Because it's the Visionary is upon us. The era of the Visionary is upon us, and the Visionary defeated in a clean win. He defeated AJ Styles.
He did,
to become the heavyweight champion. What a good match!
It was crazy that it was the leadoff match. I did not expect that at all.
So I think if you're not first, you're last. And I feel like that they wanted to do the bloodline thing at the end. They had Roman, so they went with this one first. So there's really two main events, right? To a show. It's the first match and the last match as far as WWE is concerned. Now, they put big matches on in the middle there, but they're going to put their top guys kind of in first and kind of in last. So we got Seth and AJ first. They kicked off the show to get the crowd hot and to get the crowd like, holy shit, do you believe we just already saw? And it just started.
Mm-hmm.
And I was happy with that because actually I wasn't doing anything and I was able to turn it on in the middle of the day when it started. I wasn't able to actually finish the rest of the pay-per-view till later, but I was able to watch that live, and I really liked that. I thought they had a great match. They got time. That when you put two of the best in the ring to ever do it, and just be like, you have a good match, boys. How was that not going to be good? It was great. It was really, really great. I really enjoyed it, and they tore the house down. And good luck following them. Not really sure what happened immediately after that, but I'm sure they couldn't follow. But yeah, it was a really good match. I was excited that it went on first, rather than get buried in the middle somewhere. So no, I was all good with it. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you covered it there. It was a great match. I mean, like you said, you put two professionals such as them in the ring like that, you're not going to come out with shit salad. It's going to be good, There was no major botches, and I was glad to see him get the win clean, so that it's not, soiled, I guess you would say. But now we're back to the Monday Night Rollins and him spouting off about how we had to have another title since his former best friend from the Shield seems to be holding everyone back, which Jimmy, I will say, I believe that's right, of the Usos, not Jay, finally has started the demolition of the bloodline. The look on his face whenever he delivered the kick to Roman after he did it was just perfect.
That was so. I'll tell you what, the Usos have really been the guys who have carried this. I mean, Roman, all three of them, really. The Usos and Roman have really done fantastic. But, I mean, you just want to talk about, like, guys who have done the big moments with the facials and the timing and just being, like, just perfection. This is the best. This is the best told story wrestling has ever done. Period.
Yeah. It's good.
It's
at least in our generation.
I don't think it's been better in any generation. I think that this is really, maybe Flair versus Steamboat is comparable, but I think that as far as them being, the bloodline and a group, and with Roman having all the titles and what have you, and then this just kind of deteriorating and falling apart, Roman getting in Jimmy's face, Jimmy kicking the shit out of and kicking him again. And then we got to get out of here. And the Usos leaving together, but still maybe not being on the same page. Man, I'm excited to watch Friday. Like, this is that's the, like, now I need to watch Friday. What the fuck's going to happen on Friday? Holy shit. Yeah. What's going to happen? And it's kind of just been that over every time they kind of build that up again and give you that. It's just like, oh man, now I got to watch Friday. Now I got to watch, Monday. Now, and on Monday we're going to continue this or whatever. And now I got to watch Monday. Now I got to watch next Friday. I got to see this. I got to see what's going to happen next. That's a feeling I haven't felt since I was, since it was 1998, right? 1998, 1999. I've not felt that for wrestling in a long time. So I'm really, really intrigued. That was the right match to go on last. That's why after watching the whole thing in continuance, I'm like, holy shit. So we got, Rollins won, he won clean. And I get why that went off on first, because there wasn't that much, like, you can't follow that. There's so much drama, right? There's just so many layers. Like everybody's been saying about this Usos bloodline thing. There's just so many layers. It's like an onion. You can't follow that with just a clean match. The clean match went on first. The onion went on last. Man, was it good. The one thing we didn't talk about, though, Asuka ended the reign of the EST.
She did. I was very happy about that. I thought, I was honestly, I did not expect Asuka to do it.
I didn't either.
At all. Like I really felt like this I can't think of her name. Why can I not think of her name?
Bianca Belair.
Thank you. Her reign was not close to ending. I did not feel. I'm glad that it happened the way it did. I'm a huge Asuka mark, so that's great. Especially once the mist got involved, but then it didn't get in her eye. I was like, oh well, she's lost. That was it. That was the moment of like that was her spot. But the finish, I am a little shitty on. Not okay. Like the wiping of the mist in the eye. Like, really? That's how we're gonna do it? I don't know. It just left. Well, I'm happy it happened. It did leave like a sour taste there at the end, I feel like.
So I'm not as sour on that. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was, so we've seen the mist a lot. So I thought that was sort of an interesting take on all of it. I really did. Am I happy with it? I don't know. So for me, I kind of go into these Saudi Arabia shows with a little bit of a kind of skepticism anyway. So it's hard to and plus I love a title change, even if it's kind of screwy, which this was, but it leaves room for a build to kind of a rematch too, which I like both performers a lot. I like Asuka, and I really like I like Bianca Belair a lot, and I really like Asuka too. So I want to see that. I want to see them clash again. I know it happened at WrestleMania, but I wouldn't hate to see the rubber match. So yeah, I mean, I agree, is a little screwy, but we were due for a screwy finish, right? So yeah. I'm not particularly sour about it, and I think that it progresses, because I think that otherwise if you keep the title on Bianca, like you're cold and you're dead in the water. Now at least there's something, right? There's something to build on. There's some intrigue there. There's something to go off of. Whereas otherwise, it's just like, well, okay, Bianca holds the Raw Championship, but we'll see her on Friday on SmackDown. Like, it's just not. It was feeling lackluster. Not that Asuka's not also on SmackDown. That's really weird. They should really rebrand those women's titles, but how can you do that now? Anyway, but yeah, otherwise, just, good stuff. I loves me a title change, regardless of why or how. So I'm interested to see in what happens going forward.
Sure, I can see that. I mean, it'll be fun. I love Bad Bitch Asuka, whatever you want to call her at this point. I love the new gimmick she's been pulling out here with
good.
the evil Asuka, or whatever you want to say. But
I love the paint, with the diamonds.
Oh, very cool, very cool.
Awesome. So good. She did a fast like a time lapse Instagram post. I don't know if you saw it, of her putting the makeup on. So cool.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
nice.
Check it out.
Nice.
So, what was your favorite pay-per-view then, Derek? Because we're clearly saving it.
By far, favorite pay-per-view is NXT. Battlegrounds, I believe.
Yeah, Battlegrounds. Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's too many names to keep up with.
So tell me about it. What would you like about it?
Oh, buddy. I mean, from top to bottom, this thing was just high intensity, quality wrestling, quality matches. I mean, especially the Ilya Dragunov and that Dijak.
Yeah, Dijak. Yeah.
Holy
that match
shit.
slapped. That was a great match. Dragunov is so good. So is Dijak.
Yeah, they did not hold back. They're
kind of the same guy too. They're like they just beat the shit out of each other.
It reminded me of Dragunov and well, at the time his name was still Walter, but Gunther at that point, whenever they were both still in NXT.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just hard hitting, and it was violence the way it should be. Is exactly what I was thinking as I watched it.
They weren't pulling out barbed wire chairs. They were slapping each other bloody with their own hands. Good Lord.
Yeah. And the blood was blood, not from blading, but from
that was hard way.
Getting your ass kicked.
It was I mean, there wasn't a lot of blood. It was like just there were clearly like little cuts and slits and just from like tears and pulls. It was a fight.
Gosh, whenever he did the coast to coast with the stairs leaning up on Dijak, it's just good God.
I cringed.
This is just brutal. I mean, never did I imagine that he would actually pull out the win though. So good for Ilya. I hope he gets to move up to the.
I think Dragunov's getting a big push. I think we're gonna see the end. I think he's gonna be the next guy to be the NXT champion. If I'm being honest, I think he's gonna be the guy. Because they're gonna want to pull. Carmelo Hayes is ready made for the main roster. He's a little short, but I think he's ready made for the main roster. And I agree with you. I think that I think Dragunov is going to be the guy to take it off of Carmelo Hayes so that Carmelo can go to the main roster. Yeah, that was a killer match. The whole thing was too because Tiffany Stratton won. That match was great too. I kind of expected Tiffany Stratton to win. She's sort of been their main draw. They're going to kind of do with her what they did with Mandy, I think.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, she's a smoke show that can wrestle, and I think that's really like they're like, okay, you're like a 10. You're a 10. And you can wrestle. Here's the title. Go make money. Go make money. Like that thing. So hopefully that's how that works out, because that seems to be the way. But yeah, that was also a great match. I really enjoyed that. That I actually kind of thought that match was gonna suck because it was a fatal 4-way. It was a fatal 4-way, right?
Yeah, it was a large.
And so it was like. going into it, I'm like, I don't have a lot of faith in this. But it was great. It ended up being really good. So, and then this week we found out that Blair Davenport was the masked attacker.
Yes, she's back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's good.
I tell you what was the sleeper match that I had no idea was going to be nearly as good as it was that Heritage Cup match with Noam Dar and Dragon Lee.
Yeah,
that's an interesting concept. I like how that all works as far as that goes with the 6 rounds, 3-minute rounds, and all that good stuff.
Noam
Dar's come a long way, man.
Yeah, he's weirdly good at wrestling in a way that like I don't expect him to be great, and then he gets out there, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, where'd you come from?
Yeah, that was fun. Like I had a good time watching that one. I thought that the whole I like that concept. I hope they continue to defend it on, as they kept saying, first time defending on North American soil, or maybe not defending, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no.
First time we've had one of these types of matches on North American soil. Okay, cool. So it's not something that I often seen. So yeah, I'm all for that. I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah.
We did see Noam Dar on NXT last night, so
yeah,
obviously he's gonna be in the picture for a little while.
Hopefully,
so, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot of strong wrestling this weekend.
It really was.
It was. I mean, there was a lot of strong wrestling in WWE this weekend, I guess is probably the way to put it, because it wasn't on AEW. And I think that's we're really sort of hitting the stride with that, where it's just like, man, WWE recognized that, hey, we have some competition, let's fucking bury him. And yeah, that's what's happening. So
what's happening.
As much as I would like for AEW to be able to keep up, they just are not. Yeah, no, good week of wrestling. Lots of good stuff going on. I was pointed out to during this that there are actually 3 top female talents who are pregnant right now. So we have obviously we talked about Alexa Bliss and Tay Conti, but we forgot about Carmella. So Carmella also with child, Corey Graves' child of all people.
So will it just come out with a shitty haircut and a sleeve of tattoos, you think?
For sure. For sure.
It just pops out with headphones on that go up over his faux hawk or whatever that is he's got going on.
Yeah. So should we discuss match of the week? Without Walt, it's hard to like drag this on another 20 minutes.
Yeah, I feel you.
Do you have a button? I don't have a button.
I do. Let me find
the button.
I had to come in here a little bit early to do a little poking around to figure out how this worked, actually.
A little button research.
So, let's button it.
Why don't you go first?
Wow. Okay.
Since Walt's not here, just go first.
All right. We'll throw a little mix into it. So, I mean, this kind of we've already kind of discussed all the great matches that we've had over the weekend, and fortunately, I had enough couch time to watch all 3 of the main pay-per-views.
When you got a baby, when you got a little guy hanging around, you got that kind of time.
Yeah.
You can't leave. Fuck you. Stay home.
There is no leaving.
Don't leave. Stay home.
But easily, it's got to go to Dijak and Ilya.
A very solid
pitch or whatever. Very solid match. Hard hitting match. Exactly what the sort of that right there should have been an unsanctioned match. If you wanted to, throw that label on something, that's what I want to see. You don't need to pull out chains and all this. Just beat the living crap out of each other. Do it. Get 2 men in there that give no crap about their bodies. It was like watching 2 Mick Foleys fight. Yeah. That one will be easily like match of the year in my books for quite some time. I don't know what Meltzer rated it, probably like a -2.
I mean,
but
yeah.
I would actually I don't know if you have to get past the paywall to actually find that out. Let's see here. Dave Meltzer ratings for NXT Backlash.
Yeah, look that up. I'm interested.
Let's see here. Let's see. Backlash 2023. Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar. What? Not. Oh, wait. I did Backlash, not Battlegrounds.
Fail. Yeah, Battlegrounds.
No.
Need those.
No.
I don't think that he rated those, if I'm being honest.
It looks like he might have.
Let's hear it. Let's see what he did.
No, it is cage match ratings. This is not the same. Well, whoever cage match is, they gave that match a 9.35.
Oh, out of 10? Well, that doesn't mean that's not.
That's
I'm not
an
doing math.
System. No.
Divide that by 2, and maybe that's what Dave gave it.
So
my match of the week was absolutely Rollins versus AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I knew it was going to happen, but I was like, man, I can't wait to watch these because these guys are my two of my favorite wrestlers ever. I can't wait to watch these guys wrestle. It's going to be great. They delivered. Man, it was good. It was at the beginning of the show. I didn't have to watch the whole Blood Money show. They just put it on and I could watch it and then I could like catch up later. It was so good. Like everything was coming up Tom this week, right? Like everything was just coming up me. It just worked out. And I appreciated it. So that was really my match of the week. I'm happy that Seth won. I thought that was going to happen. We got Monday Night Rollins again. Going to continue to carry the show this time with a big gold belt. And I think that's cool. So, whoa.
How do you feel about all the whining though that's been going on Twitter about, well, we had to make this one because, somebody's holding titles hostage.
I feel like I've been a wrestling fan for too long and I've seen this happen too many times to be like bitchy about it because like it just was going to be a thing. They'll figure something out to do with the Roman stuff and they'll combine it into something and it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. It's fine. It's going to be fine.
Official opinion of Tom is it's fine and he is not worried.
I'm not worried about it. It's going to be fine.
I do not believe that he rated those. I'm very deep in the weeds trying to find this. I don't think that unless it's not, available to the general public because I refuse to pay the
it'll get out
sheet
there,
writers. Yeah. It's too soon. Anyway, it's a great match. Good pick. I enjoy yours. You enjoy mine?
I did. It was good. It was a good one.
For wrestling. It's a good weekend.
Walt liked Bianca Belair versus Asuka the best because he likes when Asuka wins.
That's a good choice, Walt.
I'm just going to pick that for Walt. I think that's what he'd say. He can bitch at me next week if that's wrong.
Yeah, Walt knows us some matches of the week because this is 2 weeks in a row now.
2 weeks in a row, yeah. But I'm gonna give Walt his match.
Fine dining establishment has gotten in the way.
His match of the week was Asuka versus Bianca Belair because Asuka won. So that's where we are.
We'll give it to him. That'll work. All right. Well, if you got nothing else, I got nothing else.
I got nothing else.
All right, man. Well, let's end it. So I guess thanks everyone for tuning in. I know we've had some people popping in and out throughout the stream. So thanks everybody. It seems like here anymore we're kind of like a Wednesday show instead
of
a
Wednesday kind of family here.
Where we're going,
we hang out on Wednesdays.
I don't mind.
We should just hang out. We should just go to Derek's house on Wednesdays now.
Yeah,
Derek's house.
I mean, all three of us know how to change diapers, so you'll be very helpful.
I'm very good at it. I got that crab grip where I can just pull the legs and you do the thing with the and you wipe and then it's your gut. And the baby's like, God damn it, wah, wah, wah. But it's like doesn't matter because I got your legs, buddy.
That's right. That's right. You are mine, little human.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So thank you, Tom, for the time. And we will see you all next week. Wait, it's all love. We got to say that. It's all love. Yeah. One Fall WrestleCast.
One Fall.